Colors. Seattle in blue. Florida in orange. Orange? That's pink.
Early on is just how important that really
stupid
seems to be. So Florida, well, they got the better spawns early on. Long-term.
Okay, so pretty similar setup here from Seattle. But they're not focused on trying to hit through together. Like this is very passive for Seattle off the rip here, because you've got two players holding defensive lines. And it's just two SMGs trying to work underneath, one from trench, one from barrels. It's a little passive. Similar setup, though, from Florida. Watch here. Player trying to push through, player watching under, player under the hard point. So very similar setup.
You know they're going to be wanting to hold it, and well, striking for at least the first blood in the point. Actually, it's Seattle getting the kills.
Yeah, nice bit of work from Seattle.
Okay, good kills, though.
For at least got the better spawns early on. Long term.
It feels like this angle that we're seeing gunless hold, probably not necessary. I don't figure we're ever going to see a team try to make this push through. But he does eventually get into a position where he's playing from inside coop, and he's able to find free kills from that position. So that's good news. And Pristini was on one today.
First blood in the point. Actually, it's Seattle getting the kills.
Yeah, and that's also really interesting, I think, for... We saw it there and Slack's perspective, where he jumps up top and is trying to essentially watch this ladder push through. He's trying to control top here for his squad. All right, it's supposed to be in pink. But it doesn't really work out for him now, does it? So okay. So good for Seattle for now. Not going to get aggressive yet. Big kill for Pristini. That information... And now this kill should mean that for Seattle, you're starting to push. That's two big kills down. And most of it was through good areas that you could contest. I want to see them pushing here. A little passive, but they are in the way. So that's what I mean. That moment right there, this is exactly what I was talking about. 50-yard line. If you find yourself on this side of the 50-yard line, that can be enough to flip spawns around, which it does. So really, really, really good stuff.
Florida Mutineers on the left-hand side of the map. Pristini once again keeping this run going, man. He is looking
beautiful. Perfect timing from Seattle.
This guy's is going to be coming up, but again, that rug room to the left-hand side, very sneaky. And Pristini even sneakier. Oh wait, no, maybe shots are there. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? He gets it.
I mean, he gets it, but he's also getting hunted down while this happens. We saw Sim trying to stay alive. Pristini trying to do the same. Can't quite do
All right, I was not going to lie. I was watching the Pristini play. Are these 50-50 spawns here? Okay, so there's the spawns to the left. Let's watch the spawns here. Where does Seattle spawn here? Bottom left? Top left. Wow. So this goes from a Florida spawn, push through, to a Seattle spawn, Florida spawn. Interesting. Okay.
He knows full well that Skies is going to be coming up, but again, that rug room to the left-hand side, very sneaky. And Pristini, even sneakier. Oh, wait, no, maybe.
Looney, where do you spawn?
Is he going to get it?
Top left.
He gets it.
I mean, he gets it, but he's also getting
Skies. Whoa. Didn't know there was a spawn down there. Okay, so it feels like you've got two priority spawns, depending on what's happening at the hard point. But then you've got secondary spawns on both sides as well. Interesting. Okay. So with this, that push through, and what was the contest going on in the back over here? You had a couple of members that were still kind of lingering in this space, but still contested in the back. You've got spawn. Let's go back and rewatch this real quick. Okay, so right here. Okay, so that's that cleanup moment that we just had. This is going to be enough for Seattle to flip the spawns out. All right, so now they're going to go. It's blocked to the right. Everything's blocked. As soon as you get past this 50-yard line, the right side of the map is currently blocked. Then there's no win for Seattle.
Two members now of Florida Mutineers on the left-hand side of the map. Pristini once again keeping this run going, man.
So
He's looking hot
6
so
is
far.
able to force the spawn block still. Still contested. You also have this player streaking across. That's good enough for helping the block. So you've got a north to south spawn. Because this is blocked and this is blocked. Okay.
He knows full well that Skies is going to be coming up, but again, that rug room to the left-hand side, very sneaky. And Pristini, even sneakier. Oh, wait.
Same situation. Even if this player here falls, 50-yard line. Florida's past that 50-yard line.
No, maybe. Shots are there. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? He gets it.
I mean, he gets it, but he's also getting hunted down while this happens.
I guess I'm a little bit. I mean, there are numbers. It's interesting because there are numbers here for Florida, but that I guess I would have in my mind. I was expecting to see him pop up down here because if this was enough, like if this play that was coming through here was enough to block spawns from being in these spaces, I felt like this situation should be the same thing. That's weird.
Trying to stay alive, Pristini trying to do the same. Can't quite do it, but at the same time, as far as the rotation goes, you actually have enough time.
Okay, but they should win spawns here off the second hard point. Yeah? Yeah, okay, they do.
He gets chopped down. Successful.
No, I don't think we saw that either, Trap Lord. I think it's the first time we've seen that. But at the same point, we also did not see a lot of opportunity in that New York-Atlanta game where there was a huge contest going on throughout the back for that long. So it could have been fluctuated by them fighting over this space versus them fighting over this space and that not being open. I don't know.
Yeah, I say that maybe a little
kind of
bit
hard
too
to say.
Seattle actually pouring on the pressure towards the hill. Pristini still leading the charge.
Wow, they just get in from the front. Okay, so
down. Six.
now remember, at the opening portion, it's because they're trying to fight for spawns. There's not an opportunity here for Florida to zone any part of the map. They are literally fighting from out of spawn. They're fighting out of spawn to even get onto the hard point. So because of this play from Seattle up front, they should know that there's an opportunity for them to start to flood straight in. And wait, who died in the back line and when? Awakening should be pinching. This is kind of a mistake from Awakening, I think. I don't know why he's still here. Did he spawn back? No, he's on the hard point right now.
Pristini trying to do the same. Can't quite do it, but at the same time, as far as the rotation.
Not really sure about that play from Awakening. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I mean, he's sitting on the hard point. The two options that I would have normally figured for him would have been to take that route and then pitch behind or just back up and play this angle. A bit puzzling to see him try to push through that space. I mean, he gets turned around. That's weird.
You actually have enough time for Seattle to get towards the new.
So now Seattle's got the opportunity to deny the zone from Florida's POV. And with them having control inside a cave, you could just come right through the front. Is he playing for spawns for P3? Nah, no chance. Too early. I mean, the first hard point had just ended. Like, he was the one soaking up the scrap time, and then instead of going backwards, he tries to push. I think he's trying to make that pinch play, but he takes it a little bit loosely and gets caught. That should be a spawn flip. Yep.
Perfect movement. 30 seconds remaining on this hard point. Keeps the streaks going.
It's a hell of a break from Seattle, to be fair. I mean,
8-2 overall.
It's brilliant.
One of the biggest criticisms of Pristini as a player is that he's slightly inconsistent, but right now he is truly.
Okay, so now 20 seconds, scrap 20. We're looking at the exits here for Seattle. They're going to be trying to come over and up through the bottom side of this area by P3. And for Florida, the whole idea is they're trying to zone this, but they don't have enough help for the one player down low, losing that fight versus Gunless, who is right here, number 4. So him losing that gunfight now means that Seattle, if they are still spawning in this position, which you figure they are, they can rotate underneath, but more importantly, they're able to get in towards the top of this kind of balcony building.
Start here from Seattle Surge. Florida, they don't seem to
Slat has to win the gunfights up top here.
At this point in time on Apocalypse, but plenty of time to turn that one around. Looney, if it was a hard point, he goes. Pristini's going to find another 2.
Whoa, what? Oh, Pristini is just farming. I was going to say, wait, where's Pristini in this? He's back here with the Krig. He's farming. He just holds down this position while his teammates, the whole time, he's up here the entire time this play is happening. So this whole push through is Looney zooting himself off the jump wall and then Gunless making his way over, and Pristini never moves. He locks this down while his teammates push through. And Slacked, who's up top, is just kind of holding passively, waiting for a 1v1 to happen. And once he recognizes that Looney has already pushed underneath him, he tries to come around to get behind him and deny the kill. This is kind of a lack, I think, of maybe just the setup for Florida. I feel like you could probably have set this player around the back to help. If he is up top, which we didn't know at the time, but Slacked is up top, I feel like you could get in behind and help this from underneath, either by trench or right on this barrel heady. Something.
Wonderful start here.
It just feels a little bit overloaded. Okay, so number 5 is trying to make that rotation, it looks like. And I think Pristini finds both of those kills. Skies gets caught, and then Slat finds the other. Damn.
5 in a row right now. Looking to just keep a hold of this one. That lovely Seattle Surge skin with the kick equipped. Gunless is going to find 2 on point.
Dude.
This is a delightful start.
This is such a good position for Gunless to be in as well. You've got, the thing about this setup is you've got help up top, yeah? Like, this player and, well, both of these guys, they can watch everything coming from his pinch, so he can just soak hardpoint time and control this space. Only thing that's missing is there's nobody watching this back lane, which is actually where he's now turning his attention to. So you've got really good clearance over the middle of the map. This comes down to who gets into the hardpoint here next.
They know exactly where they need to look, and Pristini now just 1 kill away. At least it should be towards that artillery. He's certainly thinking about it. Got to get some bodies in the hill, though. He actually had Gunless push out just a little bit to watch that outer lane.
I think that's okay. I think that's fine.
Putting in the work. While the trades come through, you see Awakening work.
Yeah, and this whole setup, and this is what I like to see a lot, and I challenge you guys when you're watching at home. See how a team with the setup is denying space for their opponents to break. This is completely in control of Seattle. Initially, that lane is locked down because Persini is watching from up here, yeah? No chance to get out of Coop. No chance to cross this space freely. Then it's Gunless, who puts himself into a spot right here to where he can watch all of this lane. And then you get to a point where Gunless actually goes further down to contest this space, and you've got someone who's helping move up this balcony to watch this space. So the only lane that's available for Florida is either to take a long route or have to hit safely from below. There's no option for Florida to hit through the middle of the map. That we know for sure. So it's a really, really good setup from Seattle. Really good understanding. It forces a difficult decision, and really it just... I'm yelling. I'm turning this down. It forces them... Like, it forces someone has to make a play. You can hear the frustration there for Gunless. So he's sitting up into a position to where he's trying to lock down. This whole setup is trying to spawn trap Florida in the back. That's the whole setup right here. They don't account for one player spawning behind, though. But this whole idea is that Gunless up top can watch the exits, and you've got 2 players that can watch from Useless and the alley, the L turn. So there's really, this is just, everything is contested along the front right here. That's a really successful zone, but the unfortunate thing is the spawn up. Can we see how that spawn happens? Actually, I'm a bit puzzled by that spawn. I'm not going to lie. I guess the argument would be that number 3 and Looney is pushed a little bit too far forward. But, I mean, if you draw a line down, you know, a 50-yard line here through the hard point, that spawn actually doesn't make any sense at all. And, I mean, because we literally just saw a Florida member spawn right here. Like, that's Awakening spawn. Why is there... wow. You could even hear guys like, what the? Yeah, I don't understand that spawn. So that kind of loses their entire zone. Do you see how quickly like that zone setup gets broken though? Like, this position is a lockdown spot. I know it's kind of difficult to see because of the form that we're in, but it's a lockdown spot. Once he falls, watch how quickly Florida get into Coop. And they've got pressure now on the side of this defensive setup, and they can work their way in. It's wild. So watch this play here for number 8 and number 6. Guys in Neptune. There's that play through Coop. Neptune finds one. And they break up the setup completely. So now you're in the initial 20. And we've got essentially a negotiation as far as who's going to take this hard point. Both teams have arguments to be made here. Double Semtex, that'll flush out Gunless. No trophy down. Pristini would love to have gotten one down, I imagine. But he came up late. So Luna's going to make a long play. So the way to break this, and again, you got to remember that we're going from 4 to 5. I think you can make an argument here that for Florida, on this successful pinch break attempt, they overcommit to watching just one lane. Nobody's picking up this middle. So it's maybe a little bit too late. Skies finds this one kill, but no one's able to track down players exiting. This is a concealed route that Looney is currently hitting. Big wins. That should flip spawns as well. That should be Florida now spawning to the right. Yeah. So that right there in my mind is just a bit of a misguided focus. Like Florida is just too focused on being bunkered up in this space. They've got 2 players inside of Coop. Would have loved to have seen maybe even someone get to this back building on a barrel somewhere. Maybe find a way to like kind of come up top to up top on the platform. Just be in a spot to where you can kind of look at something that looks like this. But yeah, I think there's a bit of an over influence of Florida focusing towards the hard point, and they essentially just get pinched on the same exact hit that they used, and that's a spawn flip. And you can even see it already. Yes, you can kind of see it from here. Like look at Seattle off spawn. Like granted, we're at 22 seconds left, so you kind of have to focus on this, but already we're focusing towards the front of this tank truck, and then someone else is focusing on the back, and I imagine someone's gonna rotate behind this. Yeah, that's a big read. I mean, this is the zone that Florida should have been trying to set up in my mind. Something that looked more like this. Instead of being just right here. After a very successful break, you got to keep in mind that it's a double hit, right? They stayed a little bit too bunkered. Would allow us to kind of get a little bit more aggressive. Pristini's 11-5.
Chance, the comms from Seattle surge. The breaks are good. They are looking very organized on Apocalypse.
Yeah, I would say at the start it seemed like they were struggling to get some information.
Okay, so break attempt here for the side of Florida. Excuse me. Hold this defensively. Come to help reinforce. Hit through the back. Once that hit comes through, you expect that this play will come from the front and from back here simultaneously. I think they heard Pristini, though. There's the break attempt. Yeah, Pristini's just so huge, this map.
On a 5 spree, so where Pristini wasn't able to get the streaks, Gunless might be able to thrive, and if not there, I mean, inside the hill, this is just such a good hold so far. 20 seconds already gone by, and frankly, just how far away Florida is. Awakening was waiting.
You know, Awakening is going to smoke this map, but I think a lot of it is like, he's entering right now. Like, do you guys remember the setup that Atlanta had when they broke this? Where they had AR, SMG, SMG. ARs are just trying to focus on holding, and then the SMGs hit from behind. Look at how this is already different. This is AR, SMG, already through. I mean, it's too individual. Like this is not a setup. Like I think you can very plainly tell like the differences right there. Like the setup that Atlanta was able to put in before they started to make this play, vastly different. And look where Florida is compared, and they're trying to make the exact same push through. I mean, he's essentially walking into a 1v4, so that's a little bit of, I don't know what. Not great is what that is. Too many numbers. Okay. So that's going to be an unsuccessful rotation out this direction, but a successful rotation underneath. I like the effort, though. A 3-man rotation this way. Anchor that was previously there, trying to make a play through 4. I think that's very successful. I like that.
For the Mutineers. Not takeable right now, but at least inside the new Florida just trying to get some life going. I mean,
I'm wondering if this is going to be the same thing. Because you already have players like this guy through here is not going to be able to really assist this play all that much. So I'm wondering, it's Gunless, if he's going to try to make that rotation here. Or does he try to pinch in through Coop? Now you should push through it. Yeah, I think there could be an argument made for Gunless from that after he wins this 1v1 that he should be trying to push through. But it's also not unacceptable to try to come to the hard point considering you only had one more other teammate playing in that position. So I feel like either is fine. And just look at the differences again. We're at 30 seconds left, and look how passive Florida got. Just because they lost a member here, look at this. Off spawn, they're trying to keep this safe, and they're completely chalking this side of the map. Now, they're going to have a little bit of help up top here, but Seattle, who are going to be playing to the bottom, they've got an opportunity to completely avoid that jump up, pending they find this kill, and get into the back this way. Whereas, I feel like setups for Atlanta, when we had them, remember they looked like this? I hate to use them as the only example, but that's the only game that we had to go off of. Very different from what we're seeing right here from Florida. And if Neptune dies, now you're short-handed, and oh boy. Sky, was that Slack? Yeah, Slack tries to make a route happen through the middle, and he actually essentially guarantees his team to spawn out. That's actually a huge mistake. So get a read of the land right here. Currently, even after the kill on Neptune, Florida's in a position where they should still be spawning in the back. But you're 30 seconds in. You want to hit a pinch? That's going to essentially guarantee the spawns are out. I mean, there are no kills in the kill feed for Florida. If you had found maybe a 1-for-1 trade right here, maybe. But I feel like that's kind of a mistake route to try to hit through that. It's going to guarantee, especially after a second kill comes through, and now a third. I mean, he doesn't even die. It doesn't have to make a difference. It's just the fact that Florida's making a rotation this way, while Seattle's making a rotation this way, and that's enough to flip the spawns around. Now, the question is, where does Gunless spawn? That's the real question here. I have to imagine he spawns back this way. Oh, yeah, that's the second time that we've seen this. Huh.
From this back position, front side of Temple, watching those players overextending, should they choose to get in towards the second hard point. Looney up through top broken, Big Weight gets the trades. Octane now making his way.
Love this play though. This is the appropriate timing, I feel like, for a pinch to come through. Jumping the half wall, not great. Try to come through the back. You don't know where Florida is specifically, and Octane is just to hold his life. Because he'll block these spawns. This should be north to south. Yeah, okay, so this makes sense. So it is going to be north to south this time. No blessed spawn in the back this time for the side of Florida. Should still be 50-50 parallels. You got to get out of this space. Just get out of there if you're awakening. Give it. Who cares? Come this way. You got to try to get through this. You got to go. He read this. Spawned back here. Read the player making this cross. Came to this space and is still dancing with him. You gotta use this position as a way to either pinch or reinforce to lock down these spawns. Okay, so he's gonna chalk it and then rotate. Unreal, dude. Pristini went bad mode. And then we got that same spawn again. Ugh. I mean, if Pristini doesn't, I mean, there have been so many times where if Pristini doesn't find the kills that he's gotten, Seattle's not up by much, if up at all. Like, that's a really, really solid break right there.
Single game might bump him up quite a bit. On a tear for the moment, the next one's coming through. Finally gets chopped down.
Unreal, dude.
For Seattle, a 90, make it 100-point lead in the books, and that is twice now on this P2 hill, where they're basically holding it from the front. They never really secured those.
Unreal.
Never quite got the hole, but it doesn't make a difference. Dominant
And I mean, you guys kind of, I mean, I challenge you when you're watching tomorrow when we see this map, like, take a look and kind of evaluate the pacing that some of these squads are pulling. Seattle just wins this hard point from the front because Pristini goes dad mode and blocks in the back. You had a player who tried to come through and work from the front, but take a look at the rotation already. Like, Looney has already bailed and made this rotation happen. Watch Looney's route. At this point in the hard point, he spawns up in the scrap time. What is the key about that back 20 seconds that we keep saying about scrap time? Finesse the hard point. Try to zone the rotation. So there's no need for him to finesse the hard point because you've got a player in front. It's number 4. It's Gunless who's trying to play forward. He's going to make the long route in to try to play to zone the rotation. Get into a position where he can block off some space here. And that means that you've got a free rotation from wherever your teammates spawn to get into the next hard point. Love it.
They never really secured those temple spawns. Never quite got the hole, but it doesn't make a difference. Dominating on this hill.
And to be fair, like, this is way too passive for Slacked again. Like, you're in a position from this point on where, like, we're no longer playing for this hard point. Look where they're at. Look where these last members are. We're not playing for this hard point anymore. Not with 19 seconds to go. Why are we not locking down this lane from this guy and locking down this lane from this guy? Why is everyone backing up to the back? Is it just, it seems like they're getting a little spooked. Like, they turned because of this kill right here, thinking that Seattle's going to come through, but look who just came off spawn. This guy can pick that up. So I think they're just getting a little bit spooked in the back. That's the second time that we've seen Florida kind of fall back, thinking they had to worry about a rotation that wasn't there. So it feels a little overcautious, but I think that's kind of a product of, like, one of your main ARs not having a great game. So, like, that lockdown anchor is just not a part of this formula right now for Florida. I don't know. I mean, you have to figure, like, I think this is a lack of awareness right here from Florida, because even if one player pushes through, the second hard point is still active. Do we really think that by zoning forward in these spots and someone who spawns up, that we're going to spawn here? And I guess I'll throw this out in the universe as well. Let's say that these are the last 2 players that are here, and Seattle does come through this direction while Florida is trying to watch this space. I guess my question is, why not wait for the information of a call of where your homie's going to spawn? Because if they spawn here, your setup is fine. You can still hold down this lane, no problem. If your homie says, oh, I've spawned behind P2, guess what? All these players have to do is just back up. And you're, instead of zoning the hard point like this, you're zoning the hard point like this. Either is fine, because the next hard point's here. We don't have to have these spawns for P3. It feels like it's just an over-rotation. You've got number 8 Neptune, who's going backwards to pick up a pinch it's not even required. And Slacked has given up space. So you're essentially saying that you're okay setting your defensive line of scrimmage right here, where the difference could have been like this if you did spawn out, or like this if you did spawn in and your teammates are still locking down those lanes in the middle. Because this player right here would be watching this jump up, and this player right here would be watching the lower cross. And then the player off spawn would pick up the pinch. Or the converse could happen to where we're right here. Oh, I spawned out. Cool. I'll get into coop. Cool. I'll go play back barrel. Cool. We'll come in. We'll reinforce the hard point. You kind of see what I mean? Like, I hope that, like, you guys are able to kind of understand, like, where my mind is when I'm looking at that. Like, you've got the ability from one side or the other to still zone the hard point aggressively, rather to where you've already given up this space. You're falling back into this space, and now you've spawned in, and your only opportunity to hold this hard point is essentially right through the front of it. You don't have any zone anywhere around here. You've got no zone here. You've given up so much space to where Seattle can just freely enforce and early contest this hard point. And we're still 14 seconds left of the old hill, by the way. What program are you using to draw on the screen like this? It's called Epic Pen. It's free to use.
Never quite got the hole, but it doesn't make a difference. Dominating on this.
So that feels like a mistake in my mind. I mean, Slat can't see anything from right here.
Right now, Florida Mutineers.
Yeah, and if Florida loses a fight, they're chalked. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So with this setup, it's actually a really good follow-up point. I mean, you've got two people watching the same. I mean, look at the setup here. You got nobody who's playing for the hard point. You've got two players watching a flank that's not going. And if Florida loses this gunfight, that means the hard point's in their control. If they lose this gunfight, it means that the spawns are under threat. I mean, no matter where, if they lose any gunfight in either of these spaces, it leads to a huge advantage because Seattle's in this space. A gunfight win here means that now they're in this space. A gunfight win here means now they're in this space. Yeah, that's actually a really good point, Noisy.
Just not find their footing.
They just can't find a thing here on Apocalypse. It truly is the end. Nice nade from Skies. Blows Looney clean out of TVs, but gunless. It was easy.
Look, it's early, but like, this is why there's a problem when you give up so much space and you're playing from a defensive setup that looks like this. Once you get kills, you have to try to take ground forward. You have no information on where is Florida. Or Seattle. We have no idea. You get two gunfights down, one down. Well, you got one gunfight, one earlier down low, but you have no idea what's up top.
Easy for him. Skies is getting involved. Does manage to land it. Neptune's going to hit the back now, but they're all tagged up. They have to slow down.
And just look how fast Seattle's getting to this hard point. No one ever contested any space. And that's a full 4-man wipe, and look how quickly Seattle. This is what I'll say. Like, this is how you can tell Seattle has gotten better in the last 2 weeks. They get these kills, and they're look where they've already set themselves up. That actually there's one side of spawns that come in, but because they get those kills and they're starting to make their move across the map, they actually force a Florida spawn all the way out. Is this where Octane finds all three? Or Gunless finds all three? Yeah. No, wait, it's not there. Oh, it's Octane that finds all three. Like, floppy. Lots of work to be done here for Florida. Lots of work to be done. Like, for New York, I'm looking at what they put together and said they had some really unlucky gunfight losses, some really unlucky timings where they tried to reset tempo and then score streaks dealt with it, but Florida looked like they need to work on everything in this map. Like, the setups for New York were at least good when they had them. Now, I'll say this rotation's not bad for Florida. This is actually pretty good, this break attempt that they get. And maybe a bit of it is over-evaluation and over-investing here for Seattle, trying to contest this space. When, again, I just don't feel like we're going to see a lot of rotations come through here. I just don't think we will. I feel like everything going to 2 will come around this way. Everything going around 4 will come around this way. I just don't think we're going to see much rotation through this point. It's just too difficult to get through. So the hit here for Florida is successful. They break through scrap, 10 seconds to play on the hard point, and they immediately cut back around. This should be essentially the same pressure that Seattle just had, to where you can start to spawn Seattle out with good pressure coming around the backside here. So this is actually a nice rotation from Florida. Although this is a mistake. Neptune really shouldn't be making this play because, again, when this hard point opens up, what's that going to do to spawns? He should be a part to overwhelm the spawns that way. It's a big win from Skies. Yeah, Neptune just dies. But there's this, you can see there's the spawns, so it's a little sloppy, but it still works. Dude, what the Pristini? Yeah. Florida's got some work to do on that map. Lots of work to do on that map.